Your Excellency Vice President Mahmoud, Mr. Freddie Blay, Your Excellency President Kuffour, Your Excellency Vice President Mahmoud Baumia, Excellencies, Honorable Members of Government and Parliament, Nananom, representatives of parties who have come to solidarize with us, delegates and party stalwarts from both within and outside Ghana, friends of NPP, ladies and gentlemen, I'm here today as an elder and uncle of our great party to play the role of an elder within our culture. Elder's role is to caution and advise as and when necessary. As you can see, I'm no more as active as I used to be. But I believe I still have a duty to our great party. This is why I've come. So please let me share in welcoming all of you to this important conference to elect the executive of the party to manage its affairs towards the next round of the national, presidential, and parliamentary elections in the year 2020. The organizers of this conference could not have chosen a better theme for this meeting than they did. Building a united, stronger party, delivering prosperity for Ghana. I'm sure you know that our party tradition enjoined us from the first times that the tradition was founded to be the vanguard for delivering good governance and prosperity for our nation. But how could we as a party do this if we are not united and purposeful and single-minded in the discharge of this unique responsibility bequeathed to us by the doyen of party politics of our country? And you know that person, the prophetic, visionary leader, late Dr. J.B. Dankwa. And also his successors within the tradition, the late Professor Kuffour Brefabuzia, who was a great humanist and a man who really knew the length and breadth of our country and insisted that those who would be trusted with leadership should never forget that the wealth of our nation really was generated from the rural parts of the country. This was why within the 2 years he governed, he left so many landmarks all over the country in terms of rural development and support for our farmers. He never ceased talking democracy and humanity, the dignity of mankind at every point in his addresses. There was also Chief Dombo, who showed a legendary selflessness. In the 1950s, he led on the opposition side, the biggest group, the Northern People's Party. But in spite of that, and being very realistic, he decided not to seize leadership of the opposition to the then government. He ceded leadership to Buzia, who had just a single seat in parliament, when Dombo led about 14 seats in the House. Why? Because he saw in Buzia the person who would put together the strong opposition that would hold the then government, CPP, to account and to transparency in governance. Dumbo showed selflessness and consistency throughout in his political life of this country. These three men left us this responsibility: good governance and prosperity. And they didn't say sacrifice the one for the other, as is the practice internationally. People think to make economic progress, you should overlook, ignore democratic and accountable governance. Not these three men. They insisted that whilst pursuing good democratic governance, you should at the same time also pursue sanitized, sane, well-informed economic governance. And this is why when you look at the history of our party and of Ghana as a whole, you see that it's only in times when our tradition takes power that you see both good governance in terms of democratic constitutional governance and economic progress and development moving together in tandem. We have achieved this as a matter of record, and this government, the current government, is going in the same trajectory. This is the singular historic duty bequeathed to us from our forebears. But you cannot do these two things effectively and efficiently together without a solid, united undercarriage of party. And this is why the theme of today, to me, is so significant. Calling for stronger, united party to deliver prosperity for Ghana. And when we say for Ghana, we mean inclusively. It's not just for our party people, for Ghana as a whole. I believe the last election, 2016, which gave us a monumental victory over our opponents, really testified to the fact that Ghanaians had seen this light that Dankwa advocated from way back. I believe Ghanaians trusted that it was NPP that would deliver both good governance and economic prosperity. This was why they voted the way they voted. But fellow party men and women, power has a way to trick people even of good intentions. Power, they say, corrupts. And they say absolute power corrupts absolutely. So at every turn, even as we make progress under the current government, and we are making very serious progress, when you look, whether it's in the social interventions, whether it's in thinking big, on the macroeconomic front, whether it's about looking into the future and achieving sustainable development growth, this government is doing very well. And it's not only Ghanaians who would are saying, international community is also saying it. And this is why we have long streams of visitors from all over the world coming, and our president, just 1.5 years into government, is being invited all over the world to be consulted and to be encouraged. But, as I said, power can trick you. If you are not careful, you become complacent. If you are not careful, you become conceited. If you are not careful, you become discriminatory. If you are not careful, you think you do not need to look critically at the grassroots. As an old uncle, an elder, I have come just only to remind our leadership and all of us within the party that we are only 1.5 years into power. Unfortunately for us, the tenure of office of our government is so short, only 4 years. 4 years, you don't change the world within 4 years. But we want to change the world. We want to transform Ghana. And to be able to do this, we need a very solid, very united party as the undercarriage for the great visions and great policies the government is launching to be given the chance of the day. To win elections over and over and over again at the national level. So all these policies and programs would be realized for the people of Ghana as a whole. And to do this, I'm just come to pray to you. Please, please, please. And here let me remind you of what our late chairman, Mr. B.J. Darocha, said. That we are in a party does not mean we are friends. But at least we must share a common vision. We must know the destination we all want to reach. Good governance for prosperity. We all want this. And for this, we must swallow our individual egos and, with all due respect, vanities for the greater good of our country and for humanity at large. Let's hold together. Do not let's do anything that would begin to splinter us, would begin to leave rancor within our ranks. If we can overcome this and hold together, I assure you the people of Ghana will vote for us 2020, vote for us 2024, vote for us 2028, and into eternity. We become the party of the nation. I believe in this sincerely. And this is what I've come to tell you once again. May God bless this conference. Those of you contesting, know that in elections, some win and some lose. But they are all like family and royals of the same stool or chair they are seeking. When you win, you want everybody to support you. Why should you refuse to support your cousin who wins? So when you win, please be magnanimous. When you lose, be a team player, be a sports person. Because today may not be your day, tomorrow might be your day. But unless we hold together, I tell you, our future might not be as rosy as it must be. So God bless all of you, and I wish you well and successful conference.